Welcome to the unit number 3, part A, that is groundwater hydrology. The objectives of this unit are to study basics of groundwater, to learn the divisions of subsurface water, to demonstrate the classifications of aquifer. Now coming to occurrence and distribution of groundwater, already we have discussed regarding hydrology. Hydrology is nothing but it is the science of water. It is the science of water dealing with surface water as well as groundwater. So groundwater means what? The water which exists below the ground level. It is called as groundwater. So what are the sources of this groundwater? Groundwater is derived from precipitation and recharge from surface water. Unless and until precipitation is there, you will not find the groundwater. When precipitation occurs, there will be infiltration or seepage of water into the ground, and due to this, there will be recharge, or you can say augmentation, addition of the water below the ground level. It is the water that has infiltrated into the earth directly from precipitation, recharge from streams and other natural water bodies, and artificial recharge due to action of man. Infiltration and further downward percolation from sources like rain, melting of snow and ice, rivers and streams, lakes, reservoirs, canals and other water courses are the usual main source that contribute to the groundwater of a region. So when precipitation occurs, there will be infiltration. It is one of the source of recharge of water, and due to this, groundwater will exist. At the same time, the groundwater will store or it will flow with various rivers and streams. It will get stored in lakes, reservoirs. At the same time, it will flow through the canals, water courses, and due to this, there will be seepage of water, and which will contribute to the groundwater in that region. So this is regarding occurrence and distribution of groundwater. Now coming to classification of groundwater or divisions of groundwater, also called as sometimes divisions of subsurface water. In the exam question may be asked, classify the divisions of groundwater or divisions of subsurface water. So it is one and same. So groundwater basically divided into two zones. One is called as zone of aeration and second is called as zone of saturation. So this zone of aeration is subdivided into soil water zone, intermediate zone and capillary zone. So here same thing is shown with the help of schematic diagram. So here subsurface water is divided into basically two zones, zone of saturation and zone of aeration. The zone of aeration is divided into soil water zone, topmost layer, intermediate zone in between these two layers, and next is capillary fringe or capillary zone. So we shall discuss zone of saturation. This zone, also known as groundwater zone, is the space in which all the pores of soil are filled with water. So what is zone of saturation? In case of zone of saturation, all the zones or spaces or pores are filled up with water. The water table forms its upper limit and makes a free surface, that is a surface having atmospheric pressure. So in case of zone of saturation, there will be water table, and this water table will be having atmospheric pressure. Now zone of aeration, in this zone the soil pores are only partially filled with water. The space between the land surface and the water table mark the extent of this zone. So in case of zone of aeration, so the pores, these are partially filled with water and partially filled with air. Any flow of water in this zone is in unsaturated soil matrix condition. The zone of aeration has three subzones, as already we have discussed. Soil water zone, the topmost zone is called as soil water zone. So what is this? This lies close to the ground surface in the major root band of the vegetation, from which the water is transported to the atmosphere by evaporation. So in case of soil water zone, it is the zone, major zone, which is associated with the roots of vegetation, and due to this there will be evaporation and transpiration. Intermediate zone, As its name suggests, it is in between two zones. This subzone lies between the soil water zone and the capillary fringe. The thickness of the zone of aeration and its constituent subzones depends upon the soil texture and moisture content and vary from region to region. In case of intermediate zone, the subzone lies between the soil water zone and the capillary fringe. The thickness of the zone of aeration and its constituent subzone depends upon the soil texture and moisture content and vary from region to region. The soil moisture in this zone of aeration is of importance in agriculture practices and irrigation engineering. So this intermediate zone, it is a zone from irrigation point of view, it is very important because the water which is available for the roots are only dependent upon these characteristics of intermediate zone. The present chapter is concerned with the saturated zone only. Then next is capillary fringe. In this subzone, the water is held by capillary action. This subzone extends from the water table upwards to the limit of capillary fringe. Now, saturated formation. All earth materials from soil to rock have pore spaces. The earth material, maybe different types of soils, maybe different types of rocks have pore spaces. Although these pores are completely saturated with water below the water table from the groundwater utilization aspect, only such material through which water moves easily and hence can be extracted with ease are significant. On this basis, the saturated formations are classified into four categories: aquifer, aquitard, aquiclude, and aquifers. So, these materials are completely utilization aspect, only such material through which water moves easily and hence can be extracted with ease or significant. So, this is regarding saturated formation. So, as a part of saturated formation, the materials which can absorb the water, which can hold the water, and which can transmit the water, these are very important because these materials, these formations only can fulfill the requirements of root zone. So these materials, these formations are classified into four categories: aquifer, aquitard, aquiclude, and aquifers. So what is aquifer? An aquifer is a saturated formation of earth material which not only stores water but yields it in significant quantity. Thus, an aquifer transmits water relatively easily due to its high permeability. Unconsolidated deposits of sand and gravel form good aquifers. So what is aquifer? Aquifer is a formation which can store sufficient amount of water, which can yield, means contribute sufficient amount of water, and which can transmit sufficient amount of water. It is a aquifer. So the best example of this aquifer is unconsolidated deposits of sand and gravel. So in case of sand, you can find that in the rivers. In case of rivers, when there is no water in the river and if you dug a small pit into the river, into the sand, in that case you will find water. What is the reason? Because it can store the water and it can transmit the water. Same thing is with the gravel also. So this comes under aquifer. And aquitard, it is a formation through which only seepage is possible and thus the yield is insignificant. So here in case of the seepage is possible, it can store the water. It can store the water but not in significant amount compared to an aquifer. It is partly permeable. A sandy clay unit is an example of aquitard. Through an aquitard, appreciable quantities of water may leak to an aquifer below it. So in case of aquitard, seepage is possible. It cannot yield significant amount of water. The best example is sandy clay. Best example is sandy clay. Next is aquiclude. It is a geological formation which is essentially impermeable. A formation which is impermeable to the flow of water. It may be considered as close to water movement even though it may contain large amount of water. Due to its high porosity, it may contain large amount of water, but it cannot allow the water to sip. So it is a impermeable. So clay is an best example of aquiclude. What is aquiclude? A geological formation which can store sufficient amount of water due to pores, but it cannot allow the water to move. It cannot yield the water. That is called aquiclude. Best example is clay. Then aquifers. It is a geological formation which is neither porous nor permeable. There are no interconnected openings and hence it cannot transmit water. The best example is compact rock. So what is aquifer? Aquifer is a geological formation which is neither porous nor permeable. So it cannot permit the water to store, it cannot permit the water to sip. That geological formation is called as aquifers. The best example is compact rock. So in case of geological formation, when compact rock is there, in that case you will not find water. Alright. So while digging the well, those who are from farmer family, they are well aware. While digging the well, in that case, if aquifer is of compact rock, in that case you will not find water. In Ahmednagar district, most of the part is covered with the black rock or black basalt, and due to this, in most of the areas for the wells you will not find sufficient amount of water. Then coming to saturated formation, the availability of groundwater from an aquifer at a place depends upon the rates of withdrawal and replenishment. Aquifer play the roles of both the transmission conduit and storage. Aquifers are classified as unconfined aquifers and confined aquifers. Aquifer on the basis of their occurrence and field saturation. So what is aquifer? Aquifers are classified as unconfined aquifers and confined aquifers. So we shall discuss one by one. An unconfined aquifer. An unconfined aquifer, also known as water table aquifer, is one in which a free water surface, that is a water table, exists. You will find in next figure. Only the saturated zone of this aquifer is of importance in groundwater study. A recharge of this aquifer takes place through infiltration of precipitation from the ground surface. A well driven into an unconfined aquifer will indicate a static water level corresponding to the water table level at that location. So what is unconfined aquifer? An unconfined aquifer is also known as water table aquifer. So in case of this unconfined aquifer, recharge of this aquifer takes place through infiltration of precipitation. A well driven into an unconfined aquifer will indicate a static water level corresponding to the water level at that location. So here you will find this type of aquifer is a unconfined aquifer. So it is not confined. It is not confined. So in case of this, the water in the aquifer, it is nothing but it is the water table water. In case of this, the unconfined aquifer gets water through the seepage. From the sides, whatever seepage will be there, that will be the water availability for unconfined aquifer, and it will be seen in terms of water table. Now next is confined aquifer. So this is called as confined aquifer. This type of aquifer is called as confined aquifer. So what is it? A confined aquifer, also known as artesian aquifer. Why it is called as confined? Because it is confined between two layers. It is confined between two layers. So here you will find this type of rock layer. At the top also you will find this type of layer, and that's why it is called as confined aquifer. A confined aquifer, also known as artesian aquifer, is an aquifer which is confined between two impervious beds such as aquicludes or aquifers. Why it is called as confined? Because it is confined between two impervious beds or impervious layers, maybe aquicludes, maybe aquifers. It is also called as artesian aquifer. Artesian or Artois is a place in France. Artois is a place in France. Based on it, the name is given Artesian aquifer. Recharge of this aquifer takes place only in the area where it is exposed at the ground surface. So how recharge of this aquifer takes place? From the area which is open at the ground. From the sides you will not find recharge of this. Why? Because it is confined between two impervious beds. The water in the confined aquifer will be under pressure, and hence the piezometric level will be much higher than the top level of the aquifer. The water in the confined aquifer exists in the form of piezometric level. So it is having tremendous pressure. At some location, the piezometric level can attain a level higher than the land surface, and the well driven into the aquifer at such a location will flow freely without the aid of any pump. Hope you are understanding. In case of this confined aquifer, the pressure is piezometric, and sometimes the water table at the pressure will be very high. Water table will be at higher level, and in case of this, when wells are driven into this confined aquifer, in that case water may come up freely without the aid of any pump. कधी कधी आपण बघतो बघा, कधी कधी लोक काय करतात, बोरवेल घेतात. बोरवेल घेतल्यानंतर इनिशियली इट मे एक्झिस्ट इन द कन्फाइंड ॲक्युफर. तर कधी कधी आपण मग लोक म्हणतात की विदाउट पंप डायरेक्ट बोर घेतल्यानंतर पाणी बाहेर येतं. व्हॉट इज द रिझन? बिकॉज इट इज टेकन इन टू कन्फाइंड ॲक्युफर अँड piezometric pressure is tremendous. A confined aquifer is called as a leaky aquifer if either or both of its confining beds are aquitars. Now coming to last of that is a perch water table. मराठीमध्ये आपण याला देवपाणी म्हणतो. What is it exactly? That we shall discuss. Sometimes a lens or localized patch of impervious stratum can occur inside an unconfined aquifer in such a way that it retains water table above the general water table. What happens? Sometimes a lens or localized patch of impervious stratum can occur inside an unconfined aquifer in such a way that it retains the water table above the general water table. So here in case of unconfined aquifer, this is the general water table. It is a general water table. Sometimes the water table may exist above this water table also. So there will be two water. What is the reason? Because in this unconfined aquifer there may exist impervious stratum above the groundwater table, and due to this impervious stratum there will be some small amount of water stored in this, and it is nothing but it is called as perched water. मराठीमध्ये जसं विहीर खोदताना आपण म्हणतो देवपाणी लागलं, म्हणजे एका सर्टन लेवलला गेलो की आपल्याला पाणी लागतं, पण ते नंतर पाणी नसतं. त्याच्यानंतर काय होतं, आपण पुन्हा विहीर पुढे खोदत जातो. Right, so this is called as perched water. What is this perched water table? Sometimes there will be two water tables. So in case of existing water table, there is possibility of impervious stratum above this water table, and there will be small amount of storage of water, and it is called as perched water, and that table is called as perched water table. Usually the perched water table is of limited extent, and the yield from such a situation is very small. It will yield a very small amount of water. एकदा ते पाणी संपलं की you will not find additional water. In groundwater exploration, a perched water table is quite often confused. कधी कधी लोकांचं गोंधळ होतो. कधी कधी त्या पर्च वॉटरमध्ये जास्त अमाऊंट असू शकते, आणि मग ती जास्त अमाऊंट लागली, एकदा विहीर खोदताना लोकांना वाटतं भरपूर पाणी लागलं, पण दुसऱ्या दिवशी बघतो तर पाणी गायब संपलं. सो देयर इज अ कन्फ्युजन ड्यू टू दिस. So this is all about aquifer, its types. With this we shall stop here. Thank you.